Great, that's fine. Right. Onegaishimasu.
Onegaishimasu.
Okay, good. Let's just loosen a little bit. On their palms. And then the feet start to find the floor. And just raising the heel up and down. And it's been pretty loosening the shoulders, raising them, releasing them. And finding the floor with the foot, that's releasing the arms up and down. Let's bring a little bit of breath work into it. Breathe in as you come up, breathe in as you raise, as you settle the arm. Okay, just leaving the arms up at the top. Just think about bowing the back and bowing to the front. Good. So you just open up the shoulders right to the back, let the thumbs turn out, and then coiling it to the front, bringing the back of the hands together, closing the shoulders to the front. Now just work between these two positions, opening up, spreading, reaching, closing to the front, open up to the back. Just my camera a little bit. Right. And just loosen them off to the front. A little bit of a shoulder tap across the front. And just open up a little bit to the diagonals. And bringing into a rotation on the hip. And working with the hands on hips, just casting them out, bringing them back. And just think about opening the movement up. You think about opening it a little bit down and also a little bit up to the top. Mix in high to low, low to high. You can stay low, you can stay high. You're allowing the back hip to mobilize with it. Trying to avoid twisting the knee at any point. And just taking it back to the center. Just fix the feet on the ground. And just go through where the body's going to face forward, the head's going to face forward. Just allow the hips to find a rotation. Let the arms just cast away and back. And just feel the weight of the arms, nice and heavy. Good, good. And then just taking it to a circle with the hip. And the other way. And bring your feet together. Very light circle. Keeping the feet on the ground. And changing direction. Widening the legs, continue the circle. If it feels comfortable, just let the hips drop a little bit more into it. So think about rolling the shoulders with the hips as well. And then knees. And just adding into it a little bit of lengthening to the back of the knees and then also with the elbows. So think about straightening the arms and legs as you come up. Gently, a little bit of pressure through the extension. Good, and then just switching the direction. Keep it nice and loose to start. And if it feels okay, take the hips down a little bit more into it. And again, just having a little bit of extension through the legs, through the arms, straightening the elbows, straightening the knees. Good, very good. So let the feet spread a little bit out and then bring the knees down, hinge, use the hands for support. Just rocking gently into the hip. And you can either use the hands on the floor or you can use them in prayer position, whichever feels comfortable. And then just think about spreading the elbows out into the legs, just let the legs receive it. And a little bit of pressure back, so elbows press out, legs receive it. And then think about the knees pressing into the arms. Just a little bit more pressure back. Pressure out from the arms, pressure back in with the legs. Great. Nice one for the hip and the toes. Think about using the hands, just reaching the knee down towards the ground. You don't have to reach all the way. And again, use the hands for support. You can use the hands in the front. You can also use them in the back as well, give you a little bit more range of motion. If it feels comfortable, you can also do this without the hands, but use the hands as much as you need to for support, just to unlock the toes a little bit. And the hip. Good. Great. And then just play with another one, which is kind of internal rotation of the knee. Think about the foot basically going down this way. Again, use the arms as support. So the foot's going to kind of go down. Mostly now targeting the hip inside. You can use the hands as much as you need. Play with different positions for the hands. Think about one hip being stable and the other mobilizing. Great. Perfect. Good. And then just finding the hands, widen the legs out a little bit more. Just as still a little bit of bend in the knee. And just swinging over, reaching the ankles, both hands. Good, just lengthening down, bring the fingertips onto the ground. Just play with a really an active hand, so if you think about kind of grasping something with the fingertips, or kind of clinging into the ground, have a nice full active hand. And just play with the feet also, in this case, just pulling the toes up, really trying to activate the arches of the feet. So you've got an active hand, active foot. And then you just play with walking the hands out a little bit more. Let the hips go back a little bit further. Keep the hand active, keep the foot active. And just play in this case with the fingers kind of coming up, coming down from the ground. And also the toes. Probably find it easier to kind of raise the big toe, press it down. Also think about kind of playing with the little toe, just reaching into the ground. But again, play with hands and feet, fingers and feet, fingers and toes. You can imagine you're kind of playing the piano with the fingers, doing something with the feet. I don't know what you would do with the feet there. Something else. So just a little bit of dexterity work, but keeping the hand active, keeping the foot active. Great. And then just pulling back, let the toes find the ground, pull into the shin, press into the shin with the hand, let the back go nice and straight. Just find a comfortable position with the feet. Again, you just want a little bit of bend in the knee. Good. And then just hold that position with the hip. Find the clavicle with the thumb. So you're going into the hands up, and then just think about raising up and down. So you're just going to hinge the upper body down into the hips. And hip, really try and feel the glute really active as you kind of pull back up. So don't go too far down, too low with this. You don't really want to go beyond like a 90-degree angle. The main thing is just feel the whole back of the body nice and strong. And the only mobility in this case is the hip, and obviously a little bit of the knee, but the whole upper body, just kind of lock it out a little bit, especially the chin also. Try and keep the head just stable on the upper body. Don't allow it to shift. And think again about a little bit of tension coming up, like kind of really pressing the body up into the space to come up. Pressing the body up into the space. Good. And then from that top position, just find a wide position with the hands. Spread the hands out. Again, keep them really active. Spread, spread, spread. Make the back as wide as possible and use the breaths to do it. So in this case, just a couple of big, deep breaths in. Think about really widening out the rib cage. Breath out, try and maintain the space that you've made. And just take it to a forward. Reach out with the hands, hinge your hips back a little bit. And just pull in and out of that position. Again, you're kind of pulling the hips back, reaching hands forward, just into a comfortable position, so not too far outstretched. And focus on the sense of really kind of gathering the back of the shoulder into the arm. And again, just really focusing on the fourth finger and the third finger, really squeezing in tight. So they take most of the emphasis in this movement in terms of finding the fingers. Great, perfect. And just take it into the full range. Go into the front position, reach up, drop the hips back a little bit more, just create a nice length through the back. Check the head position. You don't want it kind of raising up, just lengthen at the top. Nice and comfortable, just split the hands apart, let the thumbs rotate down, and then from here, nice and slowly, reach into the ground. Keep the activity in the legs nice and strong. Reach out a little bit more, walk the hands out a little bit more, pull the hips back a little bit more, Raise them up a little bit, like you've been pulled up and back. Couple of big deep breaths. Think about really expanding the back of the rib cage in this position. It's a really great position for opening the back of the rib cage. And as you breathe out, think about pulling the stomach away from the legs, from the ground. So you're pulling the belly button towards the spine with the in-breath. Find the shin bone, find that kind of tabletop position with the spine. And just do 10 more or so, just finding the clavicle again. Raise the body up, press the body down. Raise up, press the body down. Just a few nice and slow. And really feel that chain, the back of the body really active. Again, the only mobility is really in the hip. Try not to let any mobility in the spine happen, just the hip. Knee recedes the motion. And then last, you just think about really slow as you can. Keep it all in motion. Just a couple, and slowly down. Find the kind of where the tensioning in the body really switches on. Find the ground and then really pull the body back up. You can just notice if you feel any kind of asymmetry in the activation, the glutes, if one side's more active than the other. Try and equalize them when you go slowly up. Equal up. Great. Good. And just shake out a little bit, shake out the legs, shake out the hips. Great. Good. Just take a slightly wide lunge. Just set the hips up first. So if you think about just pressing the thumbs onto the front of the hip, make sure both are kind of forward facing, and also the back leg. You're a little bit on a train track, but it's quite a narrow train track. It's not a kind of wide train track like this, and it's not a kind of, you're not on a beam, you're not on a single track. So think about that, and then just very subtly think about if you've got the thumbs in this position, you're going to slightly kind of scissor the hip in so that the thumbs will start to kind of point towards each other. Not so much that you kind of squeeze them like this. It's not a kind of thigh squeeze, but it's just a kind of closing of this chain at the front. So toes are going to very gently start to point in, just to activate the hip here. And then just going into a hinge, come back to that kind of clavicle position, pull the body up nice and long, really feel the head's kind of reaching towards the ceiling. And then as you hinge forward, just think about very subtly spreading the ground away. So just a very simple one. You've obviously got now really asymmetrical movement. Try and really feel that the quad in this side, the glute in this side really again is active, pulling the body back up. So really kind of activation exercise. Two things, you want to check the stability as you go into the hinge so that the leg really just receives the motion, doesn't have any kind of tolerance or any kind of wobble. And then think about really active, pulling the body back again. Very simple movement. Just a kind of asymmetrical hip hinge. Great. It's just to kind of check in the anchor of the foot. Again, think about kind of spreading the ground away as you go into it, and think about pulling the ground back together as you come back up to the tall position. Spreading the ground away, and up. Great. And then with the hip hinge, just bringing the hands forward, just through the center line of this one. So think about really kind of aiming right through the center line. And then this is so that that front foot can be stable. Think about the back hip just active, just going to allow you to rotate over, just into a kind of horizontal rotation. And again, try and feel that you start the motion in the hip, the torso receives it, and also the foot, the end of the chain receives it. So just rotating it to one side. You can either hold that position, or you can kind of pulse in and out of it a couple of times. But then think about kind of tensioning into it just as much as you tension back out of it. So, and keeping the fingers squeezed all the time, nice and strongly. Getting a little bit more focus on the third and fourth finger. Great. Good. Pulling back to center, and again, just find the clavicle, and just a couple here. Just think about, again, nice, big, clear movements. Again, the only real mobility is happening at the hip. So a little bit in the knees. But the main thing is just trying to avoid anything which is going to kind of pull the spine out of that kind of nice, strong position. And again, especially the head in this point. Try and avoid the head. Try to, in this case, don't lead with the nose. Basically, think about really, if anything, kind of leading with the chest and pulling the chest back up into it. That's great. Yeah, just a couple slow in, slow out. Great, and then just find a strong position up and keep that front foot where it is. Just press the other foot into it, step the other leg back, and go into the same position. Just find that front position with the hip. Just to check in first again, just find that front position here. And then think about just very subtly closing the hip, closing the legs, and then here just again scissoring forward, just to check on that, again, the ability of the weight to just pass into the front leg. Maintain that nice strong extension of the spine. And if you think about kind of outward anchor as you go out, pushing the ground away from you, and then as you come back up, pulling the ground back towards you, think about kind of really scissoring that, the structure of the leg. Good, great. Just a few again, just to check that activation. Good, and then bringing the hands forward, just through the center line. Reach out a little bit more. And once you're stable with that, let the front foot just receive the motion, back hip, back foot, hands, torso, everything's just going to rotate out to the side. Coming back to center each time, and then rotating over. And again, you can either hold that side position, or you can pulse in and out of it, whichever's more comfortable. That's nice. Perfect. Yeah, coming back to the center, just back onto the clavicle, and again, just hinging in and out of the motion. Again, just a couple nice and slow, so really slowly in, and especially the pull back to center, nice and slowly back in to the center. Think about really driving the back of the body up through the space. All the pressure, all the tension, all the focus goes to the back of the body, back of the legs, all the glutes should be very active in that front leg. Perfect. Great. Good. Great, and then just come out of it, shake out the legs a little bit. Good. And we'll just do one last one, go into a squat. So take a reasonably wide position. You've got that first setup with the toes facing, and then just very subtly let the toes point out. Just the first few nice and active. Think about chopping the hip back, sitting the hip back, and then coming down into it. Reach the hands out, pull the body back up. So chop, roll, come back up, chop back, sit into it, pull back up. Just again, just a first check of the weight, and again, really strong glute activation, pulling the body right back up. And then think about the majority of the mobility is really the hip. In this case, the knee is much more active for the squat. And the first check in this position is just check that the knee's kind of spreading. So what you don't want to go is go into the squat with the knee starting to kind of go in. That's very exaggerated, but think about the knee and its ability to kind of bow. So if you think about the base of the legs here, this archway, think about that being very strongly active. And they're really finding the feet in this case. So how the hips are really open at the knees. Let the feet find the ground and then pull the body back up. Good. And then just sit into that position. So let that sphere, find the sphere here with the hands, sit into it. Just float that sphere off the ground, come a little bit lower. Just so that if you open the hands out, their fingers would just touch the ground. So that kind of height. Find the fingertips again. Keep one hand actively pulling down and then raise the other one as high as you can. Reach it up, reach it up. Reach it up, take one deep breath. Breathe out, pull it back. Just check in at that position again, nice and stable. Keep the other hand active. Reach the other hand up. Deep breath in. Breathing in. And just one more on each side. Think about spiraling the little finger up. Deep breath in, reaching up. Good. Coming back. Reaching the other hand. Coming back. And just last one, just gently rocking the fingertips, brushing the ground with the fingers. And just feel all the weight loading into the hip, loading into the feet. And then from there, press into the shin bone, pull the back nice and long, take a little bit of the bend out of the neck, out of the leg. Let's take a nice deep breath in here. And then from this position, just let the hands come off the shin. Think about spreading them back. So you go into like this position. So the back of the hand is facing up towards the ceiling. Just think about lengthening the body a little bit forward. It's just a bit of a stress on that tabletop position. And then think about really lengthening the back of the arms. Pull them nice and strong away from you. And then just from here, just for the neck, just looking left and right. Left and right. Left and right. Good. Find the head centered, feel the back nice and strong, and just pull the body back up to standing. And shake everything out. Shake out the lower back a little bit. Shake out the arms. Good. And just shake out the wrists a little bit more. And releasing the arms out. Just bring them away from the body a little bit. Keeping the wrists loose, fingers loose. Bring the legs into it, a little bit kind of kicking away. Yeah, letting the feet find the ground. And just take the focus into the core of the body. Take a couple of nice big deep breaths. And let the exhale be nice and full. Let the weight sink into the ground. And just bringing the hands onto the belly, onto the stomach. Just start to settle the body down. Just take it to a nice, gentle kind of heartbeat to the pulse. And a couple of big deep breaths in. Think about breathing into the belly nice and big. Last breath. And just release the body out, release the arms. Very good. Okay, we'll do some okay. Let's see what we got. Okay, perfect. Very good. Good. So just your own time, just take it into the first suburi. Nice and big. Really find the back. Allow yourself to pause a little bit through it. A couple of seconds into the cut as well. Just really clear form. Have a nice clear focus for the head. Nice. Good. Nice. So. Great, and then just switch over to the left side. So find the left side, same movement, drawing to the back, bringing the feet together, and cutting into the left side. Nice, big, clear motion. Again, giving the head nice, clear focus. Great, and then just mixing in left and right, just changing on the spot, bringing the feet together. Again, really find the spine, give yourself a little chance to really balance the body here, switching the weight, stepping back, switching the weight, stepping back. hold, each, hold, each, hold, yeah. That's it. Good. Just play with one exercise. This is just a play with the timing of the cut. So one thing that tends to happen, this comes up later also with the stepping, is the sense that I kind of land the feet and then the cut kind of happens. So something like dum dum with the hand. Think about the cut in this case. You're just going to kind of stop it here in this point. And I'm going to kind of deliver the cut as I'm transitioning the weight into this leg. So there's a problem with this movement in that what you're doing later with this movement is actually delivering the cut into the step. Okay, the problem with this exercise, because I can do it, is that the tendency is to let the feet find the ground and then add the cut. Okay, which translates later as kind of stepping in and then cutting. Yeah, but actually I want to deliver the movement with the cut. So just change the cut very slightly. I'm just going to kind of finish here, and then the foot's going to find the ground. But what I'm really training in a sense is to land the weight, find the cut. And it's not the front foot, it's not that the back foot's not involved, but I don't wait for it to land before I kind of initiate the cut. So just play with the timing of it a little bit, explore a little bit. You're kind of landing the weight now during that motion of the hip. So that's the point when that's the point when I want to deliver the full weight of the body, boom, into the cut. Think about any kind of attacking motion. I basically want to deliver it with the movement, not basically arrive and then deliver the strike. So just to explore a little bit, sometimes stopping at where you would cut the head, and then sometimes full cut through to the center line. Just kind of exploring that the timing of the hands and feet, basically. Yeah, good. That's good. Hold. Great. And then just taking into a little bit of stepping, so keeping the 𝘭𝘪𝘆 and just stepping into it. Again, just explore, sometimes also just play with cutting to the head and basically again delivering the weight of the cut within the motion. Again, what I really want to avoid in this case is something like this, landing and then trying to add the cut into it later. So think about really delivering the cut with the step. Yeah. With the step. The rotation one's a little bit different, but the steps are all the same. Yeah, really opening up the body, finding the spine, stepping through, cutting. And then as you do it, just give the head a little bit of a clear focus, just to keep it forward. Basically kind of looking to the horizon, that kind of distance out with the head. That's so good. Boom, that's it, good. Yeah, good. Boom, that's it. Good. Good. And this kind of stepping is much easier to take later into 𝑘𝑖 work. So if you think about the function of the back leg in this motion, is just to collect the back hip so that it's stable enough to take another step. But again, I don't want to kind of wait for it. I don't want to wait for the back foot to land and then add the cut into it. Again, this kind of form doesn't really lead so clearly into 𝑘𝑖. So switch the cut now to, again, just staying with static, but taking it to now for 𝑦𝑜kōmen. But that same kind of feeling, I want to just deliver the weight of the body with the cut. And then you're changing into 𝘱𝘰𝘪𝘐 here, and then every step, 𝘭𝘪𝘠𝑚𝑖𝑛𝑢𝑐𝑖. And again, just think about the back foot, really there to just collect the back here so that it's possible to stabilize and then go into another step. But again, think about really trying to deliver the weight with the motion itself, with the step. Boom. That's it. Yeah, good. Boom. That's it. Oh. Again, same thing, just a little bit more of an emphasis on the cut. So if you think about many times where you would make contact, which would generally be about this kind of area, either hitting the head or hitting someone's bokken in the process, and then think about from that point applying the weight into it, which is going to take you down to center. So take it kind of slow with it, but think about where the strike would actually make contact and then drive the body in behind it. So really focusing on the body work. The worst thing I can do in a way for our training especially is really kind of throw the sword away from the body. So think about, in this case, kind of creating a contact point, and then driving the body through it. Create a contact point, drive the body through it. And this kind of training is what we do all the time. If you think about anything where make a contact point and then drive the weight of the body through. Ikkyo is a classic example. Make a contact point, drive the weight of the body through it. And this is the kind of structure we use with the taijutsu. And this is kind of really the emphasis of the weapon work as well, especially later when you go to partner practice. But it's possible to train the same dynamic within the 𝘧𝗪𝗡 forms as well. There's much more emphasis on the weight of the body than it is on the sword itself or the bokken. That's it. Yeah, Keith, good. That's it. Oh. Oh. That's it. Good. Good. So explore a little bit of 𝘭𝘪𝘢𝗏 in this case. Work just with two cuts. So think about starting right side. The first we'll do slow, but have in mind that you're going to go to 𝘭𝘪𝘢𝗏. So I'm going to use the same basic form, but really consider now two things: the stillness in this position and just moving, and then also the stillness in this position and just moving. Yeah. So again, focusing on placing the weight, all that kind of thing, but the focus really now, especially for going to kind of movement practices, is really consider these kind of still points in the form and just being able to mobilize the body. And the kind of stiller I am, the more ground I am, the more balanced I am, the easier it is to just move with it. So it's a study actually of a 𝘭𝘭𝑪𝑢𝑚 movement, but you do it with stillness, which is, it sounds kind of contradictory, but a really useful practice. Think about really still, and then the whole body engages into the movement. Really find the ground with it, and then engage the body into the cut. So you've got a very subtle difference in those two still positions. The kamae is quite neutral in terms of weight being expressed, and the cut on the left side is very active in terms of weight. It's a very subtle difference in terms of those two positions. One of them's a kamae, and one of them's really a cut through. Well, and the extent that I can just get the body to move as one piece, all as one, makes the 𝘭𝘭𝑪𝑢𝑚 super easy. That's great. Boom. So this is what I call like, it's like the feeling's like pumping the gas on a pedal, or not even a car, just or like a kind of pedal gun. So it's something where I'm kind of using the foot to pump, and there's an immediate effect. So in that case, if I press the pedal bin, the lid kind of pops up. If you press the pedal on the car goes faster. Right, so think about this as you're going to be in the left side for this. It's just to kind of train the heel a little bit and the foot. Think about that connection from the ground. So a little bit difficult to show this without showing the feet properly, but think about this kind of connection up. Okay, so there's a tensioning in the foot. Now play with just the ability to float the heel off the ground. And I want to feel that the ankle and the foot is able to kind of really fill, and then feel that you can just kind of step out with it this way. So there's a kind of pressure into the ground. Not that I'm kind of adding it, not that I'm trying to add anything. That, and then just feel every so often you can just step forward. You can do this on both sides, but just start with the left for now, and just using the right heel. Again, the more balanced I am, the more centered I am in terms of the structure, the more weight I can express down, the more kind of compression naturally goes into the ground and naturally releases the body forward. very subtle movement. Just to kind of rock, you float the heel off the ground and just kind of pump it a little bit. Boom, 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 let it go. Like you're a little bit on a kind of springboard. You want something kind of elastic, flexible, supple. Good. And then same exercise, just bring the sword work into it. So think about as you kind of press, as you kind of pump the back heel, the back foot, think about also just then a little bit of tensioning in here. And again, feel the point where that really comes on and then comes in. So in this case, you don't need to fully ground the back foot. So the front foot's full, the back foot's coming in to meet it. And just at the point where the heel's about to go, touch the ground, there's a kind of springiness in the back heel, allows you to kind of press the body forward into the next cut. So just kind of add it, let it go. So the kind of two ends of the chain, of the kinetic chain, the hands and the feet, and I want them really to be kind of being ordered in time. Good. The more they're kind of synchronizing up from the hip, the more then the hip is able to just express those movements. Boom, that's it. Great, easy, good. And then just play with the full form. So if you think about starting in the right foot, get nice and still, realize how to find the kamae here. And then you're finding this form now in it. So here, and then into the cut. So what you can do also is just do the form as it is, or you can also kind of pause at this point, work in and out of it, boom, and then that. So I'll especially use the second one if I kind of feel that the first cut is actually kind of out of balance, and I don't really want to go any further. If you have a choice, you can stop the exercise totally. But it's also sometimes worthwhile just to kind of hold in, feel that you can gather again, and then go into the second cut that way. So play with it a little bit, left side, right side cut. Really looking for a kind of 𝘭𝘪𝘢𝘴 form. Yeah, really the precision of the basic, just kind of explored now, but really the back foot is really a key part of this movement. Just going to spring it out to the ground. Good. That's it. Oh, shh. Oh. Good. 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 And then just switch it around, go from the left side kamae, and then you're going into right foot, left side, and finishing on the left side in this case. So again, we just go straight into that form. And again, if you feel the need to, just kind of play with that midpoint of the form, and just play again, we'll find the kind of elasticity, subtlety, but especially now that foot, and its ability to just kind of maintain that tensioning across the system. Nice. Boom, good. Yeah, good, great. Hold. 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 Great. Good. Good. So we'll just play a little bit with the back motion in this case. So we'll just do this one way, starting at pulling back into Kihon. Think about starting on the right side, kamae. You're going to raise back, draw back, cut down. Yeah, really fully engaging into a cut. So not a block, really a cut. And then think about rolling the body back, cutting on the right side. the first couple of, when we'll do this, really pull the body back to do it. So you're trying to train one thing, which is the ability to draw the body back, but maintain strong extension forward. Okay, so rolling the body back, strong extension forward. And in this case, for this one, the sword doesn't need to pass around the back of the head, because I'm not protecting myself advancing forward. I'm actually just focused on cutting this way. So the tip, in this case, is just going to be a little bit more shorter movement. Doesn't need to circle around the head. So in this case, just the right side to start. Going back on the left, full cut down. Apply the hip, apply the weight, and then release. Fly into the cut on the right side. So these are really two finishing cuts. Practicing that same feeling both sides. Left side's a little bit weaker structurally, but you want the same kind of feeling. Full weight down, engaged. And again, you've got this kind of dilemma. How do I pull the body back and engage forward into the cut energetically? Yeah. Hold. Yeah, one thing that's useful in this exercise, again, it tends to get lost, and especially in partner training for some reason, but think about as you go back. So I've done the form, boom, I've done the form here, and then maintain this form, so this feeling of strong extension connection out, maintain it as you come forward. Yeah, really kind of hold that position. You're obviously going back to a neutral position, but keep that kind of an energetic feeling, like you're really radiating forward. And now here, maintain it as you come forward. And then it's actually, you're not going in and out of this feeling, you're just maintaining that kind of state, the feeling of the body. Maintain the contact out, maintain that feeling, and then you just continue it. So nothing really changes in the kind of energetic state. And I definitely don't want to kind of drop down and kind of lose that connection. Just for the sake that it's kind of harder to go in and out of it than it is to just stay in it. Nice. Yes, that's it. That's true. Nice. Good. Good. Great. Okay, and then we'll just switch the form a little bit. So this time you're going to do a block on the first one, and then the second one's a finish. Slightly different feeling to it. What I'm looking to do with the block is basically buy me a little bit of time. So I don't have time to finish the form and cut through. Yeah, they take me by surprise or something like this. So what I'm going to do in this form is just pull the body into a block. Yes, I'm just looking at kind of going into the side of the body. And then because I've bought myself a little bit more time when they do attack again, what I can do is really finish the form here. So what I'm not going to do now is pull the body back. The first one, yes, I'm going to draw back, keep the space, go into a block, and then the second one, do this basically on the spot, and just engaging into the cut this way. And maintain that focus as you come through, back to the front. You step back, block, strong block in this case, and then the second cut, really applying a finishing, a really strong finishing cut. And again, maintaining the focus as you go forward, blocking back on the left, finishing cut on the right, and then keep it as you go forward through. So you're really, in this sense, trying to control the space, trying to control the timing of the person. First block is to suppress them, buy you a little bit of time. Second cut is to really finish, neutralize the person. Nice, that's it. Boom. Good. Okay. Good. Yeah, so this form you can take to Kin-no-Nagari. The first form, the Go-no-Ice, you can't really do Go-no-Ice because you can't do Go-no-Ice as a Kin-no-Nagari form because it doesn't actually make sense to do so, because each one's a finish. So you have to change it so that it's a block, otherwise it doesn't really make sense to continue it. So in this case, you can do this as a Kin-no-Nagari form, which is to draw back and then straight into the second cut. And so then you're using that kind of springy, elastic quality of the body. Full strong extension out, really radiating out, and then you block, and then you finish. And so if I've got a person that's very connected to me and attacking, as I block, they're already on top of me with the cut here. So I've got very little time in this case to just engage into the cut. And so I'm trying to ride off the impulse of the block. This, switch it and go into the cut. You can do this kind of pulling back of it, and I would do that for safety in terms of working with a partner, but actually the feelings to just block and cut through the person on the second one. That's it. Oh, good. Nice. Yeah, Kathy, good. Got it. Okay, got it. Good. Just play with one foot. It's just to give you a little bit less control. And sometimes it's useful to do this, especially when you're working with a partner, which is just to use one hand for the sword. So the block is basically just going to be one hand. So the point of this is that it's not really about doing this with the arm, again, blocking out. If I do this with one hand, it's very fragile. But if I have the body behind it in terms of weight, really engaging from the back of the body in the ground, and then the second cut, find the backhand and make the cut. Because it's just a kind of test of the structure here. If I'm doing this, this is going to be very disconnected. What I want to do is really ground the body strong here. This is all connected now. And then from here, then into that finishing cut, nice and strong. Yeah. Just to give it a little bit less control of the weapon. And and it's really necessary to engage the whole weight of the body, the whole posterior chain, everything's kind of connecting into the sword. Very obvious when you do it with one hand, whether it's in or not. That's nice. Okay, good. Oh, good. Good. Okay, last couple of minutes. Just play with the second cut. So there's lots of variations for this, and keep that first one again, whether you just do it with the right hand holding. So the basic variation, if you get stuck, is that one, just cutting back. But think about lots of different possibilities of this. Most of them are going to involve coming around and curling into it this way. So you've got lots of variations, again, with this. From here, you can think about really cutting in, around, finding the cut this way. You can also think about slicing across this way. And you've got a choice. You can do them all with one hand. And again, the focus then really becomes the body to do it. Really becomes the body to do it. Really becomes the body to do it. Or you can kind of involve the other hand as well. So, and you can also start to bring the other hand in on the block if you want. Just explore a little bit. Different possibilities, different movements. But they all kind of form off that basic form, which is to try and buy yourself some time in the block and then neutralizing that second one. Yeah, good. Yeah, good. Yeah, that's good. Great. And just really explore. You can use the back end of the sword, you can use the front end, you can use the tip, you can use the blade edge, you can use the back end of the weapon, find the hands. Lots of things you can do from here. Yeah, good. Okay, we'll do one which is just, it's one of the most direct forms we've got. So if think about the block's going to be here, and then think about this, you just come straight in underneath. Now, this is a great form. This really comes from katana work. So you're here with the block. This is a really great one for dexterity. You really then roll the sword through this. So, yeah, so what I'm doing is trying to bring the blade up and basically go into this position. Yeah, so that the hands kind of, what's the word? I don't know. There is a word for this, but the hands just form a nice kind of nest for the sword. Yeah, so you go into like this position, this kind of position with the hands. So a good one for dexterity. But if I'm able to kind of mobilize the grip, and I can make the weapon very very dangerous in this point. And this is basically just going straight for the throat. So it's a total finishing movement. And it's either used as a threat, or if the person continues, they fall straight onto the weapon. Not a good idea. And if they really start to struggle, you've got the blade in a position where you continue up, and then you can cut through again with another one. It's a very dangerous position. That's it. Good. But then it's all really coming from the body work, and the sword just basically changes around it. It's very direct. The sword hardly moves in this one. It's all kind of body work. And that's it. Yeah, exactly. Nice. Good. Just the last few. Nice. There you go. Nice. Yeah. Great. Okie doke. We will stop right there. Very good. Good. どうもありがとうございました。
どうもありがとうございました。
Okie dokie. Thank you very much.